Happy Sunday, everybody. Today is December 7th, 2025. Some quick little items before we get started into the watch list for this week, at least the swing trades anyway. Next weekend is a Trader Circle, which is a free group coaching that I offer. So if you do want to join in and ask me any questions that you want, so we can help you out, go to the description of this video and you can sign up for free with the Calendly link that's there. Keep in mind that once you sign up in the confirmation email, you'll get a Zoom link. That's the one that we will all use to attend. Cool. Let's get into it. Let's quickly go over last week's picks. Let me just bring up that watch list. So we had Airbnb that I mentioned to you guys from last week. Whoever got into Airbnb, you should be sitting very nicely. We hit about three targets so far. Looks like we're going to continue this week and hit the rest of them. Can probably squeeze it to this wick, but we'll keep it here for now. As always, never let a winning position go red. Once it's the first target, you should not be letting it go back negative. So Airbnb doing pretty well. Next on the list, we have Amazon, which did not work out well. I got stopped out of this trade myself. Whoever took profit at the 50, you at least got something before it went back to break even. Unfortunately, I myself was waiting for the 618 to be hit first before I took any profit. So this was a loser for me. CoreWeave, which I definitely did not get in, is really nice. So whoever got in here, congratulations, doing really well. How much was the first target? About 6 points. Right now we're up about 12 points for whoever got in here. Next target, if you are in here, if we get a continuation to the upside, is going to be this fib level over here, and then this strat target. If it does run more without pulling back or reversing on the week, we can see if we hit these other fib levels and these other previous candle highs. I also added NEE to the list per request. I didn't take anything here. Wasn't really my cup of tea. But not much happened. It looks like it triggered to the downside, but it looks like it's getting slightly bought up here. Usually when price is kind of like consolidating like this, I don't like to swing in those moments. Cool. Let's get into this week's. Not anything too crazy for this week's list. So we have Baba on the weekly time frame, a 2-1 setup. This can be a bearish TTO. For those who are not sure what that is, that's just a retracement before it continues in the trend. So right now we're on a bearish trend. It's pretty much a lowercase h. So if we do trigger next week to the downside, we can see if we can go complete that low and break this low to the left to see if we can get some more to the downside. Some things to be mindful of when you are trading Chinese stocks is news affects them a lot, right? Regarding like any foreign news. So if something comes out with China, it can gap up, it can gap down. In this case, if we're short, we definitely want it to gap down, right? After we get in. But just be mindful of that. For Chinese stocks, I usually size in a little less. So I'm usually using 5 to 7% of my account in a swing trade. For these, I'm usually maxing it out at about 3% of the account. Just personal preference, size according to what feels good to you. This is just what I prefer. As always, because this is a weekly, go out at least 30 days out. One thing to note when it comes to the TTOs, I do prefer my risk reward to be at least 1 to 1. With this one being 9.92, I would probably lower this a tiny bit to at least be 1 to 1. Again, personal preference. One thing to note is, let me hide these fibs real quick. This is where I'm going to put my stop loss right over here. However, as I always mention to you guys sometimes, or when I sometimes, not always, sometimes, when I sometimes mention this to you guys, if it triggers us in for this setup to the downside, if you want a tighter stop, you can consider in between the 50 fib and the 61. You can put it right at the 50 if you want. I just like to give a little more breathing room in between. The reason why is because, especially for 2-1 setups for the strat, those are in-force setups, meaning that once it triggers the trade, we should just be going straight to target. We shouldn't be chopping around or coming back into entry. If it does chop around and comes back into entry, the setup is no longer in force and the probability of it failing is higher. On top of that, if it triggers a 2-1-2 down and then it gets bought up and hits 50% of the previous bar, the chances of that becoming a 3 bar increases and the trade's probably going to be a loser from there. So I would rather get out sooner than later. But again, because this is a swing trade, I usually give it a little more breathing room. So something around here, maybe even the 886, I can use as a stop loss instead. Cool. So that's what we have for BABA. The next one is AVGO. I myself don't trade AVGO, but I know people who do. So I'm adding this for the to the list for you guys. We have a nice hammer after this nice big strong week that we had at the last week of November. For this, I personally wouldn't be looking to go short. I would only go long if I were to take this. Again, let's see what we got. Are we at all-time highs? Ooh, nice. We are 100% at all-time highs. So in this case, because we don't really have any strat targets to the left to take profit at, you can take a piece here. So I would have this as a first target. This stop loss is pretty wide. Personally, we can use the same concept as we just looked at on Baba. So probably have a stop loss here. And we can use the stop loss as a guide for when to take profit for the next levels, right? So let's just say, just to make math pretty simple, let's say it's $14. So after our first target, which will be the end of November's high at 403 flat, from there, you can pretty much take profit every $14 that it goes in your favor. So the next target would be give or take about 409.40, let's say. And then the next one from there, let's say about 423. Well, actually, we're doing it from the original entry. Oh, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Yes, about 423.40. That will be the next one. And so on and so forth until it either pulls back to our entry. Remember, if it's the first target, we should not be letting this trade go negative. Uh, One thing that I like to do is, let's say it hits the first target, I'll take some of my position off. From there, I will move my stop loss for the rest of the contract to pretty much slightly above break even. So if it does come back, I at least leave with something. Once it hits my second target, I'm going to be moving up my stop loss to my first target because I don't want to give all of this back, right? If it pulls back, I'm okay with giving $6 back and leaving my the rest of my position off at the first target. Cool. That's pretty much it, mainly for the watch list. Let's check out some news for this week. So pretty good week news-wise. Nothing tomorrow. Let me actually refresh this because Sometimes they add things at the last minute. Yeah, nothing tomorrow. So no news Monday. Just be mindful of your position. We do have FOMC on Wednesday, which is gonna let us know about the interest rate decision. So please be mindful of that. Usually, the days of FOMC, I'm anticipating one of these 2 days to chop. So either Monday or Tuesday. Obviously, if I had a crystal ball, we would all be millionaires tomorrow, but I don't. So one of these 2 days, I always anticipate a choppy day. So be mindful of that. Don't force any trades. Let the trades come to you. Tuesday, we have Jolt's jobs openings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you do have any trade open right before it, or if you're about to open a trade at that time, be mindful of that piece of news. Thursday, we have unemployment claims or jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time in the morning pre-market. So for my futures traders, be mindful of that, or anybody who trades stocks pre-market as well. That can potentially affect the market. We do have the 10-year bond auction and 30-year bond auction. We have one on Tuesday and another one on Thursday. This can be a market mover. So if you do trade around that time, be mindful of that as well. Other than that, pretty much all I have for the week. If anybody took those trades from last week or any trades in general and you did well, definitely let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. As always, if this was helpful, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you know anybody that may benefit from watching this, definitely send it to them. I will greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys for the next one.